Welcome, Gemini. This is your Wheel of Fortune reading for February 2020. The Wheel of Fortune is a reading designed specifically to let you know where your opportunities lie for the coming month. Now, hopefully these videos will be coming out before the month or early in the month from here on out. The channel just started, so this is going to be for the remainder of February. But again, it's to let you know where your opportunities lie. It's very forward-looking kind of reading, and it's to help you think through your problems, to help you look for those avenues that you can go down productively when solving problems, and hopefully to let you know a little bit about the best way to address those issues and some of the results you might see. So Gemini, for you, with this reading, I am seeing some very clear messages. First of all, you in this reading are represented as the Hermit. And the Hermit is someone who is alone, who is taking their time to themselves. Just taking some time to yourself. And you may be doing this physically, or you may be doing this internally. And I will say with the Wheel of Fortune, very often the concept which represents the querent, that's you, does not immediately resonate because it has to do with, because it is a very forward-looking reading, and because it is a kind of advice. It's a kind of advice, what kind of a stance to take with regards to your best opportunities. So if that's not something that resonates with you immediately, think about it through the course of this reading and see if it might apply. Now, the first and the clearest message I'm going to start with for you, and that is if you have the opportunity to get your taxes done this before February is out, that might be a good idea. You may see a good return from that, but I will tell you that you may have to wait on that return a little bit longer than you thought you would. You may be left in a position where you don't know what to do with what your return, with your return once you've got it, where you have some decisions to make that you really don't know how to think through, that you have to work through intuitively. Again, because this reading is about the good opportunities for you in your life, I think that's, if you do have the opportunity or something like that, then that's going to be good for you. Just be prepared that you may not see the return immediately. You may have to wait. You may have trouble finding an accountant to work with you if your taxes are lengthy and you need an accountant, something of this nature. But it would be a good thing to do. You have the opportunity, I'm going to say, to kind of play the game, so to speak. This is the concept represented by the Seven of Swords. And the Seven of Swords sometimes is interpreted as the liar or the schemer. I try not to interpret the Seven of Swords as being anything unethical. Do not engage in any kind of lying or unethical behavior. That's not something I'm advising you to do. But sometimes in life, whether that's the case or not, we have to play the game, whatever the game might be. Whether it has to do with romance, whether it has to do with our professions. Often in our professions, we have to vie for position. If you are a professional, if you are in a professional position, you may find yourself in a place where you need to kind of do what you need to do in order to deal with your rivals or deal with people who are having a negative effect upon you in that environment or who would be challenges to you. That is going to, if you do take that opportunity to be something of a little bit of a schemer, but play the game, so we will say, that is going to involve a battle. A battle will take place. And it will be a win-loss battle. By win-loss, I mean you will win. There will be some wins for you, and there will be some losses for you. Okay? But hard limits and hard boundaries will be set as a part of this. What's going to come out of that situation, though, is signified by the Ace of Wands, a new beginning. A new beginning for your passions. If this is a romantic situation, once again, I do not recommend any lying or unethical behavior. However, there may be some very passionate results at the end of that. If it's a professional situation, you may find yourself in a position where you are able to move forward very enthusiastically after this battle is fought and after you've done what you need to do to take care of those issues. You do have the opportunity coming up, and you may be seeing this already, to work with someone, and I'm seeing this as another person. This is a very similar situation that I saw in another reading today, but I think this is very similar for you as well. To work with another person who is an emotional person, a very intuitive person, a very receptive person, but also someone very much control of themselves, and someone who is very wise with regards to their emotion, very wise and very loving yet diplomatic. If this is another person, or if this is someone you can be in a situation for another person, this is a situation involving another. You working with someone else, either in this capacity or of this capacity. And the two of you have an opportunity to go somewhere together, to get something accomplished together. Whether it is, again, something professional or something on a more personal level. I'm not really reading this one so much as a romantic situation, but it might be a kind of a personal or a social situation. But the two of you have the opportunity to charge ahead forward together on something that will lead to a turning away from a situation that you don't want, a turning away from something that maybe you need to get out of your life. You also, speaking of finances, once again, you also have the opportunity in this capacity of, in addition to being with yourself, being independent, being of your own mind, taking some time to withdraw. And that doesn't necessarily mean, the hermit doesn't necessarily mean taking the time to withdraw from other people physically per se, because I see relationships taking place and you working with other people here in some capacities. But it is kind of an internal, emotional, psychological state of independence, of emotional and psychological independence, one in which you can, again, be of your own mind and kind of be with yourself in a positive way. While doing this, you also have the opportunity to practice material simplicity. This is perhaps the opportunity to go on a diet. Perhaps this is the opportunity to give up cigarettes, or at least some of those cigarettes, or whatever it is. Maybe go camping, experience some material simplicity, cut your budget back. You have the opportunity to potentially to do that, because these cards are very financial. All of these concepts that I'm looking at right here are very financial in theme. And so by cutting back and experiencing not poverty, but material simplicity, which can be a good thing. It can be good, not just good. Poverty, I don't believe, is good for the soul. I think that's not a saying that I like. But experiencing material simplicity, especially when you have the opportunity to, when you feel safe doing that, it can help you to draw in your resources, to keep your resources to yourself, to keep them from running away. And by doing that, you will be in a much better financial place. Now, this might be a situation where you're saving up for something. If those of you out there are saving up for something, maybe you're hoping that this tax return is going to go along with your program of savings to maybe work on your home, or to improve your home in some way, improve your life in a more stable way, move you to a more stable financial place. You do have the opportunity to do that here. So if you feel like you need to cut back, if you feel like you need to cut back your budget, if you feel that you need to control your diet a little bit better, whatever it might be, this is a good time to do that. You are in a good mental, emotional place where you can do that successfully, and it will be very successful for you. At least that's what the cards are telling me here. Now, I do have one warning here on the table. Again, this particular kind of reading is about the opportunities and the good opportunities for you in your life in the upcoming time. But I do see so every now and then there's a warning, and I do see a warning here, and that is has to do with being too much of a busybody. I think you have the opportunity in the next couple of weeks, over the next couple of weeks, potentially, to learn some secrets, to be privy to knowledge, to be a bit of a snoop. And if you do that, and there are some burdens involved with this. This may have to do with something that's burdening you. You may think that because there's something that's a burden on your mind or a burden on you physically, financially, whatever it might be, that trying to get a one up on the situation by getting some inside knowledge, however you might be going about that. That might seem like a good idea, but it may leave you in a place where you are bound. Learning secrets may reveal that you don't have all of the options that you thought you did. Take that, as they say, how it resonates. But I think that of all the opportunities you have before you, trying to get too much, being too much of a gossip, trying to get too much insider information, getting a little bit too obsessed with whatever that issue is, but you can go and you can spy and you can get some information. That's going to be more of you. If you feel that starting to be a burden, I would back off from that and try to focus on some of these other things. So I hope that this has been helpful for you. I hope this is helpful for you in the future. Again, I'm going to try to get these Wheel of Fortune readings out earlier in the month so that they can be referred back to. Please refer back if you feel like you need to help you work through your issues, work through your problems that you're trying to deal with in your life. Thank you for being here. Thank you for commenting, liking, subscribing. For those of you who would like to support the channel financially, there is a link to Patreon in the description below. At Patreon, subscribers receive at least 2 additional readings every month, one for love and one for money. The love reading is separated between singles and people in committed relationships so that everybody can benefit from that. But I'm Mark Kozak, and I thank you for being here.